I did not live with my boyfriend back then, and I don't have a Louis Vuitton bag. I don't have a Ferrari. And that was the worst that I could have seen. You know, that's like $350,000 worth of education that didn't come so easily. Hi guys, my name is Salta, and on this channel I usually talk about Kazakhstan, but today I decided to talk about me because some of the questions that I answered in my previous video of Get to Know Me, you can actually watch it here. I did change my answers to some of the questions, and I also wanted to share a little bit more. So you're gonna find out so many more things about me in this video. First thing, let's start with simpler things. For example, my zodiac sign, and it is Sagittarius. And I don't think that tells you a lot about me, but I guess there are some common things that Sagittarius people have. Number 2 is my relationship status, and that's something that I've seen you guess about, you know, because I was sharing my apartment tour. You can actually watch my apartment tour here. But I was talking about like we just moved in, and it was actually me and my brother, so I did not have a boyfriend. I did not live with my boyfriend back then and not now. And I don't have a boyfriend, so actually I am single, and this is actually a complicated topic, and especially because I have, you know, this mixed background of like being raised in Kazakhstan but also going to school in the US. It's a bit difficult to meet someone here in Kazakhstan, so I came up with an idea to make an application, and that wasn't only dictated by my own experience, it was actually dictated by your requests. And a lot of people were messaging me that you wanted to meet Kazakh people, Kazakh women, Kazakh men, but I also wanted to actually open up to the whole world because, you know, we live in the world where a lot of people just move to like, you know, Bali, Hawaii, or some other countries. They work remotely, and then there's COVID, there's pandemic. People are kind of used to being virtual now, and there's so many people who are English speaking and so many people who just want to travel the world, be global citizens, and I think it's the perfect time for people to open up their options to the whole world because, you know, there's so many amazing people around the world, and I want you guys to meet them. I want you to find your true love, your life partner, whatever you're looking for. And the application is called Fiancio. It comes from the word fiance, and as you know, it's very similar in both genders. Yeah, if you're interested, go sign up through the link down below, and I will notify you as soon as possible when the app launches. But I do have a request for you. If you have any suggestions, if you have any ideas for features, if you have any requests, I would be happy to find out about them. So leave a comment down below, or, you know, and follow through the link and leave the request there. So yeah, and thank you so much. Number 3 is favorite book, and my favorite book at the moment is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It is a book that actually blowed my mind. It's really packed with so many valuable advice and life hacks, basically how to organize your life, how to be more productive, how to be happier, and in general have more energy to do things, because it's not just, I mean, you can be really motivated, but if your system is lacking consistency and in general the setup is wrong, it might be very difficult for you to do things. So Atomic Habits teaches you to make a system out of your lifestyle, and so you don't have to think about some of the things, and you just automatically keep doing things. And, you know, I'm not probably explaining it the best, but if there was one book that I would recommend for you to read, that would be this book. What are my hobbies? I might have mentioned that in my previous video about monthly expenses, but they are yoga. I do Ashtanga yoga, which is a specific type of yoga where you have like a set of exercises that you keep doing all the time and you just master and perfect them. And that's what I started to fall in love with, because like once I started to commit to yoga and do it regularly and consistently, I started noticing that some of the elements, some of the asanas and some of the exercises that I did there, I did better and better every time. And I was like, oh my God, my body is actually doing this. And it was like so mind-blowing sometimes, and in general, like my whole body is so happy after yoga. I literally feel how it's like grateful for me for going there, and I'm so happy after it. I feel like it's more like meditation for me now. I don't really think about the exercises, but in general, I just like try to, you know, escape from all the problems that I have, all the reality with all its like imperfections, and I just go into the moment, and I just like observe my breath, I observe my thoughts, and it's just the best thing. Next hobby that I have is music, and it's actually something that I do professionally too. I have some music videos, I have some songs released, and I am working on my new songs, and I'm going to vocal classes, so it's something that is very dear to my heart and I can never go far from it, so I always have that in my life. I want to learn some kind of instruments sometime in the future, so music is one of my favorite hobbies. Next one is fashion, and that's something that I just started exploring, I started learning about, and I do have a lot more on my Instagram, and I make a little like types of videos with like fashion. I like to dress up, but I also don't like to keep buying and purchasing things. I want to have like some kind of capsule wardrobe where I just mix things up and I come up with new outfits all the time. And in general, I'm into sustainable fashion in some kind of like pieces that last you for years. So these are some things that I've been exploring, but I'm still new in that area, so can't tell you much about that. I'm not sure if you consider going to the gym as a hobby, but it's something that I started doing consistently for the past few weeks, and I've already seen some results, and in general that just builds stamina, that just gives me so much energy. For some reason I'm like starting to have more time for some, I don't know how that works, but whenever you have so many things to do, you start to find like cram those little spots in time where you want to make sure you do everything on time, make sure you get everything done. So I somehow started to be more disciplined with gym. I mean, it makes sense, but that's what happened to me. That's everything that I do aside from my job. And I wouldn't consider YouTube as a hobby because I consider it as my profession, as one of the things that I do professionally. It actually takes a lot of hours to come up with ideas. Like pre-production is takes so much time. You come up with ideas, you write scripts, and then you film for hours, and then you do editing for 10 hours plus. So it could be a full-time job, but right now I'm not at a point where I can afford my lifestyle with just YouTube. So yeah. Number 5 is something that I just noticed. There's like 2 different types of people, where some people like to travel to beaches and like just lay somewhere near the beach, near the swimming pool, and like have this lazy kind of vacation. But for me, I'm not really a fan of that type of vacation. Whenever I go traveling, I try to go sightseeing, I try to see as much as I can, because I'm just like, I maybe I have a FOMO, but I do want to see as much as I can. I want to explore, I want to go out, I want to experience museums, the cities. I love architecture. I love walking downtown somewhere, doing some active sports, but not too active and too extreme. But I do love seeing, and I do love active traveling style. Number 6 is something that I actually kind of touched upon, where I would like to live in the future. And I cannot say a specific place, because I feel like we live in the world where a lot of us want to be global citizens. You want to be traveling all the time, and I want to live like few months there, few months here, like few months in Kazakhstan, few months in like some kind of Western country, and then go to the south and be at the beach, or go somewhere else. So I don't want to limit myself to one type of country, and I feel like that's something that I'm striving towards too. And I want to enjoy the best parts of the world, and I want to enjoy the best that can be offered by Kazakhstan, by other countries. And there are some things that you cannot find anywhere else but Kazakhstan. There are some things that you cannot find anywhere else but like the United States, or Australia, or France, or China, or whatever that country might be. So I feel like I only know maybe 5% of those things that I do certainly want to enjoy throughout my life, and I want to still go explore and find those other things. And so basically there's no single country that I want to live in. I want to live everywhere around the world for a few months. And once I actually had this funny thing. My brother was like the other day, he's like, oh my god, like if you live in the US or in Canada, that's like so far away from Kazakhstan, that's like 20 hours to fly there. But I was like, well, if you use the train from Almaty to Astana here, that takes the same time, and you don't consider it too far. But like the United States is like 20 hours by plane, and that's the same thing. It's just in your mind you think that it's so far, but actually in time that doesn't take that much time. It's only a day of traveling. So basically the whole world is only a day of traveling. So I feel like we're in the time where everything is pretty much accessible. The other question is it affordable? And that's something that I'm striving towards, to be able to afford that. Number 7 is something that I actually never answered. Why I started this channel is actually there are several factors. I love being on camera. I love sharing things. I love, sharing my knowledge, sharing my experience, sharing my stories. And in general, I just love having this creative type of work where you just come up with whatever you want to, and you just come up with the whole format, the whole you can talk about whatever you want. Basically, YouTube is so creator friendly. Basically, it supports whatever type of art you want to create, whatever type of videos you want to create. And the other thing that I thought about is, what is it unique about me that I can share to the world? And I was like, well, I speak English, I am living in Kazakhstan. What else could I talk about? I could talk about Kazakhstan. So I started there, but I feel like I do want to a little bit expand the topic of Kazakhstan, and we'll see how that goes. But if you have any requests and questions and topics that you might want to hear from me on this channel, please comment down below. Another thing is what I want to show through my YouTube channel, and a lot of the things I'm seeing in the comments, the dynamics are, Kazakh people want me to show only the best parts of Kazakhstan. People from different countries, they're like, oh, what are some scams there? What are some, disadvantages of the country? And to me, I am trying to show what it's like. I'm trying to show as it is. I'm not trying to, promote Kazakhstan and only show the best things ever and say that this is like heaven on earth. I'm not trying to do that, and I don't want to deceive people. I don't want to tell them something that is not true. Basically, I want to be as transparent as possible, and I want to be as truthful as possible, although truth might be different for other people. I do realize that, but I'm trying to be as honest as possible with you guys, and I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm trying to, if there are amazing things about Kazakhstan, I do show that. If there are some things that I don't like, I show that too. And I feel like every country has that, and anything basically has two sides to it. So yeah. Now this is a funny question. Someone commented in my previous question of get to know me, am I the richest girl in Kazakhstan? And I was like, I laughed so hard when I saw this question, because you haven't seen richest people in Kazakhstan. Basically, you might search on YouTube, on Google, some Kazakh people who like to show off, and this is a big point that I talked about in one of my videos, that Kazakh people like to show off. And so you have all the coolest cars in Kazakhstan that on the roads, you'll see Ferraris, Porsches, if I'm pronouncing it right, Teslas and everything. People just like to wear Gucci's and Louis Vuitton. So all of those things. I don't have a Louis Vuitton bag, I don't have a Ferrari, I don't have a mansion. So basically, I'm far from being the richest girl in Kazakhstan. And I even wanted to share with you a little bit of my background. So we have 5 children in my family. I'm the youngest of my siblings, and back in the 90s, when it was Soviet Union, my parents were teachers. My mom was teaching physical education. My dad was teaching veterinary science or something. So basically, they were just normal people with normal salaries. We were provided some apartments because of Soviet Union. That's the way it operated back then. If you work, you're given some kind of apartments or something like that. So it was really nice. But then in the 90s, everything hit. We lost all the money. We were basically selling watermelons on the streets. I was living in some kind of there are some types of apartments, not even apartments, they're kind of so there's a common area, and then you have one room in that area, but you have this you share the toilet, you share the shower and everything with other people, and there's 10 other rooms like that. I forgot the name of that, but it's It's kind of like a dormitory, the student dormitory, but it's like for families basically. And that was very popular in the Soviet times, and we still have that type of living setup in Kazakhstan. And they're much cheaper than apartments. There's just like one room that you buy basically. And that was the worst that I could have seen. We also lost some of the apartments and houses that we had, and we had to live in like, it's called dacha basically, but it's summer house that people use. And it's also like one of the cheapest houses that you can have in Kazakhstan. And they're not usually in the city, they're somewhere in the outskirts. So I used to live there too. You know, I've seen poverty basically, and that was like my teenage years, and it did affect me. And I don't know, it's also maybe good because it did teach me a lot, and it did teach me, you know, the value of money, but it also grounded me. And I would never say that, you know, whatever that I have today, I take it for granted. It's something that, you know, everybody has. Of course, maybe I have a little bit higher like income right now, a little bit higher lifestyle or level of living basically, but that didn't come so easily. And that's not something that, you know, I can say like I'm the richest girl. So, and I did, you know, win scholarships. I did study for free in Chicago. You know, that's like $350,000 worth of education that my parents didn't have to pay. So basically, it's not something that came easily. I will share more stories about my background in some other videos, but just to give you an idea that I did not come from wealthy family, I did not come from wealthy background, and this is not something that defines me in any way. My life goals and dreams. So basically, thank God, I'm not religious, but it's just a saying that I am working towards my dreams, and I do want to have my own media agency. I want to continue making videos. I want to continue singing. I want to release more music videos. I want to, you know, make my application more like worldwide. And basically, I do want to do more business ideas. I want to do more media type of work. So, and my whole idea there is that I want to make knowledge accessible. Basically, whatever I learn, I want to make it more entertaining, more accessible to people. And then there's this guy, Jay Shetty, who has his mission in life. He wants to marry basically wisdom with entertainment. So all of his videos that he makes, all of the work that he does, he's just taking the wisdom of, you know, whatever he's like learning, he makes it in a very easy and accessible way for people, where they just like watch it as entertainment, but they also learn something. So that's something that I do want to do too. And that's kind of like the mission behind everything that I do now. Last but not least, you might have not guessed how old I am, and I did share that in my Get to Know Me video previously, and that was 2 years ago. I was 29, and today my age is 31. I don't know if that tells you anything about me, but that's what it is. And I feel like I've never been I've never been happiest ever in my life. Like, I just by my 30s realized what I want to do, how I want to do it, what should I do about it. And I'm finally taking the baby steps, maybe not baby steps, but I'm taking the steps towards my goals and dreams. And thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you so much for watching my videos, for commenting. I'm really grateful, and thank you for watching. If you like this video, there's another video that you might like. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see next. And yeah, I'll see you in my other one. Bye guys.